Hi, everyone. Look at us in a room with other people next to us. It's cool. It's very cool. So my name is Jason Walls from QA Cafe with my illustrious colleague Tim right there. But I've been involved with the Broadband Forum for 18 years now. When I was a young college student is when it all started. And look at where we are right now. I wear many hats. And so sometimes I'm taking off the QA Cafe hat, putting on the Broadband Forum hat. Now I'm putting on the Prpl hat, taking off the Prpl hat, and putting on the Broadband Forum hat. But I love it. I love the fact that I get to be involved in making cool stuff. Even though most of the time I'm doing marketing, I like the fact that I get to be involved in making cool stuff. And it is standards that have kind of helped me to get there. I'm going to talk today about standards and open source and testing and how all of these things work together to make successful technologies and how we're kind of doing that at the Broadband Forum. So if you are unfamiliar with the Broadband Forum, we do 4 major things that happen to match the things that I'm going to be talking about. We develop global standards, certification and performance testing programs that go along with those standards. There are the Open Broadband projects, which is the open source branch of the Broadband Forum. And then we try to really go out and make sure that everybody knows what's going on, right? And we do that through our base events. There are 4 main pillars that Broadband Forum works on. Obviously, my favorite is the Connected Home. That's the group that I run, and those are the people who've brought you TR69, USP, and all the things related to that. We have a group that's working on fixed mobile convergence, and these groups all work together. So we'll work with the fixed mobile convergence guys. They'll tell us device requirements or things that need to go into the Broadband Forum data models, and then we work together to make sure that that supports what they need to do. For Cloud CO actually has a demo at Network X right now, and that's supported by an open broadband project that's been wildly successful. And they're working on all things, all things cloud related. And the tried and true groups at the Broadband Forum are those that were working on the access technologies themselves. That's the legacy of the Broadband Forum of how it all started, was working on taking external standards, refining them, kind of helping operators use them to, we like to say that we're where the rubber meets the road when it comes to things like ITU specs and things like that. The open broadband projects include a couple that we've launched recently. The one on the bottom right I want to mention because that's the one that's operating in that demo over there. Obviously, we have the open source USP agent that has been very successful in helping promote that new technology. And then a couple others that have just launched a new way of doing speed tests and working on some multi-access point technologies. So why are standards so important? I don't want to read through all of these because most of them are the things that you would expect, right? They save everybody money, they save everybody time, all of those things that anything that you build should do for somebody. But it really, really helps the industry move forward. And I say that because, I always used to say, working at UNH before working at QA Cafe, and dealing with these technologies every time they would come out, that there's sort of a 12-step process that every single technology goes through, right? And you start off, where everybody's building their own thing and they say that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then everybody's like, well, we kind of want to look at some other solutions too, and then it starts getting standardized and people push against the standard at first, and then finally everybody gets together, and then finally somebody wants a certification program and everything moves on from there. Happens the same way every time, and the same people promote at the same time, at the same points, and the same people complain at the same points. It's wash, rinse, repeat. But the standards help us move forward. They really help us have that interoperability, reducing vendor lock-in. But I say that as if that's a bad thing. It's not. It really helps everyone, right? Because once everybody is talking the same language, everybody can focus on adding the features, right, and the differentiators that make their stuff special. So we work together with Prpl directly on a number of things, and I have this slide up here to kind of show how that works. It's, I always like to say that, the networking world, the chances that you're going to see somebody again is very high. So there are members of both Prpl and Broadband Forum that work together, even if we're not having, some sort of official channel, it's, so the Prpl group is, for example, I'll talk about Broadband Forum data models, right? They are coming to us saying, this is the stuff that we need to move forward with our work. We say, okay, we're going to put that into TR-181, and then we put it back into TR-181, we publish it, and then it gets consumed, and that whole cycle keeps repeating. And it's the same thing with the open broadband projects and stuff like that. So it's been wildly successful, as you can see. Some of the main ways that obviously that collaboration is happening is with TR-369 or USP, the evolution of TR-69. Show of hands of the number of people who are familiar with TR-69 and the number of people who are familiar with TR-369. Well, that's nice. That makes me feel good. So USP has been around since 2018 and has been constantly being revised since then and finding new use cases. And the stuff that we're working on with Prpl now is actually using it to enable the microservices and containerization of applications using USP itself, which is very cool. And that's basically what I'm going to be talking about from here on out. If you were at any of the panel discussions at Network X, it's like that's the conversation that keeps happening, is that there is a desire for a smart gateway, an app-enabled services gateway, such that it can become the center of the home, and that operators can start to add value out of services to that and make everything work well together. But in addition to that, obviously, Prpl's been contributing updates to how software module management works so that we can do all that stuff, and then a whole host of updates to the data model for all kinds of things that need to be done, including updates to manage Wi-Fi parameters, which was kind of where everything, that was the last great milestone, was getting the Wi-Fi management down solid in TR-181. And then also Working Text 492, which is the app-enabled services gateway, is really kind of trying to standardize and codify the work that we're already doing in Prpl, so that it's in a spec that matches the open source projects that are being done to realize this. I only am bringing up this slide because I want to show that this is the ecosystem that's being created, not just with USP, but obviously this is the slide I always use just because I want to point out the stuff down here. All of this functionality that's in the TR-181 data model are the things that are being leveraged by Prpl to realize the Prpl OS stuff, right? And the USP ecosystem itself is built such that you can have multiple controllers in multiple places doing all sorts of different things to try to enable these third-party partnerships for the app-enabled services gateway, right? So it's not always, you don't have one giant monolithic ACS that's trying to do everything and be everything to everyone, and have, and then, so I wanted to show this because this is the pillars, those three pillars, right? So standards, testing, and open source, and these are the things that make up USP. So there's the spec itself and the data model, our certification program, and the open source USP agent, and then WFA has Wi-Fi data elements that we worked on with them to complete that certification. And then for Working Text 492, this slide should not be a surprise to anyone who is working on this stuff in Prpl. This is all of the components that is necessary to this dream of the app-enabled services gateway, and everyone here is working on at least one or more parts of this. And many of them have seen this before. This is how it's all working together. And this is what we're trying to end up realizing at the end of the day, right? Is a box that can do everything and look very cool and be, and be able to really, really offer these things to the end user. And get us to be able to use the subscribers network and the subscribers home as a platform for deploying applications and driving value from those applications. And we're hoping to do, almost everything is coming in Q1 of 2023, but you know how things work. This is subject to change. All right.
Thank you very much, Jason, for this presentation. You can thank him very much.